Hey, hey, hey. Okay, so I sometimes get some epiphanies. If you've been following me for a hot minute, um, you know that sometimes I just get these epiphanies. So I just watched a video on Aaron Doherty. I will link it below. It's one that came out today, and I do love Aaron Doherty. Sorry, I'm a huge fan. But he has taught me a lot through his videos. But it was about, and I explain this to everybody all the time about like looking at your childhood and how you took different aspects from your childhood into adulthood. You take on characteristics. And so I was just kind of going through certain things, like you go in your mind and you go, okay, what did I see about my mom? What did I see about my dad? Why do I? So, like, one was really cool that I just came up with. So, my dad and my mom were always late. Always. My mom was always my ride, so I always walked into places late. My dad will show up like whenever. Always has been like that. Show up, come late, all the time. You just don't know. He's a wild card, okay? So I have been for many years, and I have in the last couple of years been kind of letting this go, but anal about being on time. Like to house parties and shit. Like to stupid stuff. Because I feel like I took from that when I was younger that it was like unpredictable, and I don't like unpredictability. Like I don't want to like identify with that, but I'm more comfortable when I'm more structured. And but I was wound so tight for so long. So now I'm trying to rewind and be like, it's not a big deal. Whatever happens happens. It's divine timing. Like I'm trying to let go of those aspects, and I've actually been doing a very good job. But I saw the relationship between my parents and their timeliness, and also the thought of me not feeling good enough. But I also thought about, like, I sat back and I try to just give examples of what I'm doing in my head, so maybe you can do this. I sat back and I looked at my mom and my dad. I picture everything in my head, and then started to see how certain traits, not just my mom and dad, other people that were in my life, and I pulled these traits off of people, and I was like, I like this from this person, I like this, and I pulled them and unconsciously programmed them into my body and into this mind. And you pull all that, you create your own personality, you create your reality, you create your personality, you create your reactions to certain things that come in your life. So I pulled traits off of role models of mine, good and bad, unconsciously. And now that I can look at it and I can see it, I pulled this and I pulled that, I can unplug that program out of my mind. Now, it'll take some work. You have to be aware of it and catch these behaviors, because then I started to see the relationship between my mom and my dad. My mom and my dad were never together. I mean, they got divorced when I was 9 months old, so I never saw them as a unit. And it was I think there was a part of time, I'm sure they're gonna love me talking about this, back when I was like a teenager, that like they may have been hooking up for a little bit, and I thought it was weird. I even went to my mom and I was like, I don't like that, because I didn't ever see that. And they were combative a lot of the time, they were arguing with you a lot of the time. I was kind of in the middle of that a lot of the time. It was just not a great relationship between them, but I knew that there was also love between them. It's hard. I mean, they made me, so of course they loved each other. They wouldn't want anything really bad to happen to each other. I don't know. That's questionable at times with my parents. But anyways, but I saw that and I kind of took that into my own relationship unconsciously. I would do these things in my own relationship because that's what I saw. And then I kind of look at my husband's parents' relationship, and I can see how he took aspects from that relationship and he programmed himself, and then we came together. We were different. Like, me and my husband have been together for 17 years. I was determined to be with somebody and stay with them. Like, I was changing that shit. Like, I knew that, and me and Jason would kind of get in arguments when we were younger, because I'd be like, I'm not doing this like that. And he would like, quit comparing us. But I wanted to be with somebody for the long haul. And he was the one. So I changed that about my family aspect, but I also programmed these things that I saw as a child into relationships, and you're unconscious of it until you're really conscious and you go, oh, I take this from my mom and my mom and my dad, and I take these traits and I put it all together, and it made a mess. Not horrible mess, But like I was listening to him and he was talking about being a fixer, and I'm such a fucking fixer, and it has been so bad for me. And it's not anything that like anybody's put on me, but like if you come to me with a problem, I want well, I mean even in my spiritual awakening, I was like I just want to help people. That's my job. That's my feeling. I have to help. And so that's what I took into my life. I wanted to plan parties and I wanted to be the perfect mom, and I wanted to do and help everybody and put me last. And I did. That's why I gained so much weight. I just kept focusing on everybody else so I didn't have to focus on me. And so I see how, like, I saw my mom as a fixer. My mom always was trying to, and my mom was an alcoholic. So even though she was trying to fix stuff, it wasn't necessarily working. She was doing the best she could. And I can see how my dad is a helper. My dad will help people when he has no business helping people. He has no business helping some people. He's not even on his own feet sometimes. And he's doing other things for other people. And I think that's great. But I would do the same thing. I had no business spending money doing parties. I had no business doing things. But because I wanted to please everybody, that I would put myself in detrimental spots if it was whatever. Like throwing, Christmases and parties, and I just didn't have the funds, the time, the energy, and I would do it anyway so I could be this delusional person. But I noticed that he's talking in these videos, I'm just, just saying my feelings, and sometimes, I have to be candid on this because maybe somebody will pull something or relate to it. Or you'll start to look at your childhood that way. I always knew shit about my childhood, but I never that's why it's easier for somebody else. Like when my best friend Jeremy came to me and told me, hey, you need to go to therapy. I'm seeing something's going on. I couldn't see it. I thought I was happy. I was losing weight. So I was like, what do you mean? I'm happy. Because other people saw that I wasn't happy, but my unhappiness became my normal for so long. So, and I just thought being fat was what made me unhappy. But no, I was unhappy and that made me fat because that's what I used. It's almost like my mom was unhappy and that made her an alcoholic. Instead of dealing with the issue, you do something else. So same thing. I always say that somebody may have alcoholism and some people may have, your vice is food. Or your vice could be food and alcohol. Your vice could be anything, working out, having sex. All these things that you do were a vice to you. And you just replace them. I just changed the way something looked from my mom to me. But I still inherently took those traits about my childhood into adulthood. And if you don't look at life like that, it is hard. It's hard to be aware of your own bullshit. That's why I'm always posting shit. I have to be aware in every minute of my own bullshit so I can fix it. You cannot fix a problem. What do they say? You can't fix a problem in the same circumstances you had the problem in. You have to take yourself out of it. You have to look at you as somebody else and then go, oh shit, she's dumb. Anyways. I just needed to share this. I needed to record it. I'll probably put it on YouTube. Holler for a motherfucking dollar.